Good morning, children. This is Sudharani, biological science teacher at KGB Viduvur, Kadapa district. Children, be safe at home, but your study should not be disturbed as your 10th standard. So, it is very precious time for you. So, even though it is Corona, but be safe at home and try to follow the online classes. Pay more attention than the regular classes. Now we are going to our lesson. We use so many groceries items, food items to our house. For example, when you take rice, how will you get rice? We used to generally purchase the rice from a general stores or kirana stores. How they will get it? They get from distributors companies. From the distribution, how the distribution will get? They will get from directly from the mills. So, how it will be transported? Through the different means of transport, either by using lorries or tractors, etc. By using different means of transport, the goods will transport from one place to another place. So, in the same manner, in our body also, different materials will move from one place to another place. Basically, we used to have solid materials and we used to drink many liquids like juices, milk, water, etc. And we used to breathe gases. So, when we take all these three types of materials in our body and how they used to move or how they used to transport the materials in our body. So, today we are going to discuss about it. By using a special system, the materials will transport from one part of the body to another part of the body. So that system is nothing but circulatory system. So it is an amazing highway that travels through our entire body connecting all body cells. So let us see, we discuss the circulatory system in very details about it. Children, if you take the world, there is a wide range of organisms from small microorganisms to very biggest organisms. I hope you all knows that. Which is the smallest organism in the world? Virus. Virus is the very smallest organism in the world, whereas the largest organism is blue whale. So, when you take the virus till the blue whale, there are different varieties of organisms are there. But every organism definitely requires transportation of the materials. But they may be different from one organism to another organism. So, basically organisms are two types. They are unicellular and multicellular. So unicellular means nothing but which made with a single cell. You already learned that in your primary classes. For example, amoeba, paramecium, etc. Multicellular means the organisms which made with many cells are called as multicellular organisms. So, we all belongs to multicellular organisms. All plants, all animals, we can say multicellular organisms. So, from unicellular to multicellular, there is difference in the transportation system. So, when we talk about either amoeba or paramecium, all small organisms, they did not have specific system for the transportation. Simply, they used to depend on diffusion process. So, by the diffusion process, the transportation of the materials will take place. But whereas when you to the multicellular organisms, whether plants and animals, we know some plants actually belongs to even 100 feet height like rosewood and all. Such a tall trees, how the materials will transport? We talk about whatever it is, to be transported from soil to the such a last part of the plant. In the same manner, we talk about biggest animals like blue whale, dolphins, these all animals, how the materials will transport. For that purpose, all the multicellular organisms have a specially designed system that is nothing but circulatory system. So circulatory system play a vital role in all the multicellular organisms to carry the materials from one part of the body to another part of the body. So that is about circulatory system in unicellular and multicellular animals. Let us discuss in detail about circulatory system in multicellular organisms. Now let us see about pulse. So what is pulse? The rhythmic movements where we can feel near the wrist is called as pulse. This is pulse. Okay, let us see first what is pulse. All are just to do this activity along with me. Take your index finger and middle finger. Just keep near the wrist below the thumb. Just like as shown in the figure. Hold like this for 1 minute. Gently try to press it. You can feel that something is pushing our fingers up and down in a rhythmic manner. So this rhythmic movements is called as nothing but pulse. Then we discuss about heartbeat. Contraction and relaxation of heart is called as heartbeat. When heart undergoes contraction and relaxation, the time the flow of blood same feel we can able to feel near the wrist. So pulse rate is always equal to heartbeat. Heartbeat. How can we know the heartbeat? Basically, the doctors check the heartbeat by using a device called stethoscope. Who discovered the stethoscope? The stethoscope discovered by René Lennick. So this is the device to check the heartbeat. So the stethoscope discovered by René Lennick. René Lennick firstly used paper tube. Then instead of paper tube, he used bamboo tube to hear heartbeat. He called both of these as stethoscope. But now we have a very well advanced stethoscope. This one. With this one, we can hear very clearly the sound of the heart. Do you know what are the important parts of in the circulatory system? The circulatory system consists three important parts. They are heart, blood vessels and blood. So these three are important parts in the circulatory system. First of all, we are going to discuss about heart. In heart, we will discuss about external features. External features means what outside, how it looks and how it appears. Now, let us discuss about the external features of heart. In this, we discuss four important points. They are size, shape, location, protection. First of all, size. Do you know the size of heart, children? Our heart size is one's fist. So, my heart is my fist size and your heart is your fist size. That's why we say one's fist. So, the heart size is one's fist. So, next one, shape. The shape of heart is pear shaped or conical shaped. That means in this picture we observe the anterior part is very broader and posterior is very narrow. So that's why the shape look like as a reverse conical shape. Then next we will discuss about the location of the heart. Where exactly our heart is located? We see the location of heart exactly center of the chest cavity. This is our chest. So center of the chest cavity. So the heart is located middle of the two lungs, center of the chest cavity and slightly towards left side. Slightly towards left side. So that is the exact location of our heart. This is the location. Next, protection. The heart protected in three ways. That is bony protection, pericardium and pericardial fluid. So bony protection bony mean here on the top of the heart we have rib cage. This is rib cage. This one rib cage. So which on the back side of the heart we have spinal cord. So spinal cord, rib cage we will give a bony protection. Then the heart covered by two membranes. It is called as pericardium. So this pericardium membrane also protect the heart. In between these two membranes, the space filled with some fluid. It is called as pericardial fluid. So the three are protected the heart from shocks and injuries. That means mechanical shocks. So this is the external features of the heart. So what is the shape of the heart? That is pear or reverse conical shape. So the heart covered by two membrane that is called as pericardium. Now we will discuss about the internal structure of the heart. How can you know the internal structure of the heart? Definitely we go for the dissection. Do the dissection what we required. So the required materials for this dissection, goat's or sheep's heart, tray, jug of water, forceps, blade, gloves and straws. So first wash the heart thoroughly so that blood will drain out completely. Then we should keep it in a tray. Then we need to add a jug of water. Wherever we can find holes on the heart, just keep the straws inside the holes. So that straws are indication of blood vessels. Now With the help of blade and forceps, we separate the external pores so we enter into inside of the heart. Now we can observe the internal parts of the heart. So this is the how you observe internal structure of the heart. This is our lab activity. Now we should observe the internal parts of the heart. First we can see inside. What can we notice? Heart have two partitions, wall-like structures. One is longitudinal, another one is horizontal. These partitions are called as septa. First of all, what are the pores we observed inside of the heart? That is chambers, septa, valves and blood vessels. First we will discuss about chambers. The septum divided the heart into four chambers. That means the heart, because of the septum, the heart divided by four chambers. Upper two chambers are called as auricles. This is one and this is one. 1, 2, 3, 4 chambers because of septum. So, upper two chambers are called as auricles or atria. And lower two chambers are called as ventricles. That means how many chambers are there in a heart? 4 chambers. This is right auricle and this is left auricle. This is right ventricle and this is left ventricle. So, next one, septa. Septa is plural, septum is singular. The septum present in between right auricle and left auricle. It is called as interauricular septum. So the septum present in between right atrium and left atrium. So here we called as interauricular septum. The septum present between right ventricle and left ventricle. It is called as interventricular septum. Septum nothing but wall. Another septum is the septum present between right atrium and right ventricle here. This one right auriculoventricular septum. Another one, the septum present in between left atrium and left ventricle is called as left auriculoventricular septum. So, how many septum we have? We have 4 septums. So, these are about chambers and septa. Next, we will discuss about valves and blood vessels. Now, let us discuss about the valves present in the heart. There are 4 valves present in the heart. Tricuspid valve, bicuspid valve or mitral valve, pulmonary valve and systemic valve. First valve, tricuspid valve. The valve present between right auricle and right ventricle. Here, right auricle and right ventricle. It is called as tricuspid valve. Here, the right auriculoventricular septum, the septum. The right auriculoventricular septum got one aperture, that means hole. This aperture guarded by wall. This aperture guarded by wall. Here, this valve is called as tricuspid valve. Here, So what is the function of this valve? This tricuspid valve allows the blood from right auricle to right ventricle. The second valve is bicuspid or mitral valve. So the valve present between left auricle and left ventricle. Here, this one. This is called as bicuspid or mitral valve. So what is this function? This bicuspid function is, it allows the blood from left auricle to left ventricle. So it allows the blood from left auricle to left ventricle. Next, third valve is pulmonary valve. The valve present at the region of pulmonary aorta. Pulmonary aorta. So it is called as pulmonary valve. So this valve function is, the pulmonary valve allows the blood from right ventricle to pulmonary aorta. So this is pulmonary valve. This is pulmonary valve. So it allows the blood from right ventricle. This is right ventricle to pulmonary aorta. Next, last one, that is systemic aorta. Systemic aorta. So the valve present in between systemic aorta. Where the region systemic aorta region, that is systemic aorta, is called as systemic valve. So this valve function is it allows, very well, it allows the blood from left ventricle to systemic aorta. This is systemic aorta, this one. So these four valves present in our heart. This is about valves. So how many valves are there? We have four valves. Another important point is the function of valves. So you learned about the present of valves present in our heart. But now the function of valves. Valves play a vital role into flow blood from one chamber to another chamber and one chamber to the different blood vessels. And another, valves always useful to flow the blood in unidirectional. That means only one way. Valves prevent backward flow of the blood. So they flow only the unidirectional way. It prevents backward. Next one, how these valves are in same position or same place all the time with the help of a special tissue that is nothing but chordae tendineae. This is chordae tendineae picture. This one. Here, white fibrous structure is up here. This is chordae tendineae. These are fine fibrous like structure. It plays a very important role to keep the valve in the same position. This is the another important point, that is a function of valves. Now we will discuss about blood vessels present in the heart. So in our heart, the blood vessels are present. They are superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, systemic artery and coronary blood vessels. There are again two types, coronary artery and coronary vein. These are blood vessels present in the heart. Let us see. We will discuss in details about the blood vessels present in the heart. Now we will discuss about two largest veins present in our heart. That is superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. So which are used to collect the blood from all parts of the body to the right auricle of the heart. So these are collect the blood from all parts of the body to the right auricle to the heart. First one, superior vena cava. Here we see this is superior vena cava and this is inferior vena cava. The superior vena cava collects the blood from top parts of the body, that means head and neck. And inferior vena cava collects the blood from bottom parts of the body, that means trunk and limbs. Limbs nothing but hands and legs. So finally, the two vena cava collect the deoxygenated blood and finally the blood enter into right auricle. This right auricle. Here the deoxygenated blood collected from parts of the body by the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Next one, pulmonary artery. So pulmonary artery is a major blood vessel that originate from right ventricle, where the right ventricle in heart is called pulmonary aorta or pulmonary artery. So the pulmonary artery collect deoxygenated blood from right ventricle to lungs. Next, pulmonary veins. These veins collect the oxygenated blood from lungs to the left auricle of the heart. Next one, systemic aorta. This is the largest blood vessel present in our body. It is originate from left ventricle, is called as systemic aorta or systemic artery. So what does it do? It collects the oxygenated blood from the left ventricle to the all parts of the body. That's why it is a very biggest blood vessel. Oxygenated and what is deoxygenated and what is deoxygenated blood mean? Oxygenated blood nothing but richest oxygen is present in this blood. It is called as oxygenated. What about deoxygenated? That is lowest oxygen present in this blood. That is deoxygenated blood. Next one, coronary. The coronary blood vessels present on the walls of the heart. Walls of the heart. And coronary artery is, it carries blood from inside the heart to walls of the heart. So it carries blood from inside the heart to walls of the heart. And a coronary vein, it carries blood from walls of the heart to inside the chambers. So these are present, the blood vessels in the heart. Then we will going to discuss about so many scientists done a great contribution towards the circulation. The first one, Girolamo Fabrici. He is the Girolamo Fabrici. He was the 16th century scientist. He is the father of embryology. He studied the veins in the leg. He done many experiments on how the blood moves inside the veins. After the observation, he given an important note that valves are present in the vein. So this is our Girolamo Fabrici's experiment. Another scientist, William Harvey. He is a William Harvey. He was the student of the Fabrici. He also belongs to Italy. He done the experiments on dead people's heart. He noticed walls in the heart. He was the first to recognize the full circulation of the blood in the human body. He discovered the heart pushed the blood into arteries, whereas veins collect the blood from body parts towards the heart. And another one success research, that is, he also explained about double circulation. This is about William Harvey. Another scientist, Marcello Malpighi, he is the father of physiology. He discovered capillaries in the wings of bat in 1661. Actually, capillary is Latin word. The meaning of capillary is hair. Now, let us discuss about the blood vessels. There are three types of blood vessels in our body. They are arteries, veins and capillaries. First of all, we will discuss about arteries. This is artery. These blood vessels always carries oxygenated blood. You know what is oxygenated blood? Rich oxygen present in the blood. It is called as oxygenated blood. So, the blood vessels arteries always carries oxygenated blood from the heart towards the body parts. But pulmonary arteries carries deoxygenated blood. This is very important. You note it. Deoxygenated blood from the heart towards the lungs. When you observe this artery, it has a muscle layer surrounded by elastic fibrous coat. Between this, there is space called lumen. Observe it clearly. The lumen is very small in size in artery. Next blood vessel, vein. These blood vessel always carries deoxygenated blood. You know what is deoxygenated blood? Deoxygenated mean rich carbon dioxide, present rich carbon dioxide and less oxygen. So this color indicate deoxygenated blood. So the blood vessel always carries deoxygenated blood from body parts towards the heart. But pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood from lungs towards heart. This is you noted it opposite. So in pulmonary vein, which blood is carry? Oxygenated. So in vein, the veins have very thin outer layer and have surrounded by tough fibrous coat. Yes. Between these both space is present called lumen. This is lumen. And here the lumen present in vein is very big than artery. It is very small and it is very big lumen present in the vein. Next, third blood vessel, that is capillaries. So who discovered capillaries? Yes, Marcello Malpighi. This is capillaries. So capillary is in Latin word. In Latin, capillary mean hair. Capillaries are, finest blood vessels. So what is its use? The capillaries are used to connect the both arteries and veins. So here we see clearly this is artery and this is vein. So the capillary connect the both blood vessels, that mean artery and veins. But capillaries also have very large lumen here, very large lumen. So these are three blood vessels present in our body. Next, we will discuss about cardiac cycle. Do you know what is the function of heart? The function of heart is pumping and collecting the blood. So what is cardiac cycle? One contraction and one relaxation of auricles and ventricles is called one cardiac cycle. So cardiac cycle is nothing but heartbeat. In contraction phase of the heartbeat is called systole. So contraction nothing but systole. Whereas relaxation phase is called as diastole. So contraction means systole, relaxation means diastole. First of all, during systole phase, both auricles, you know what is auricles? Auricles nothing but upper chambers of the heart. The both auricles will contract and push the blood into ventricles. Ventricles lower chambers of the heart. Later, both ventricles contract and then the blood enter into the blood vessels. So, the blood enter into blood vessels. During diastole phase, both auricles will relax. That means relaxation, then followed by ventricles. By this process, slowly the blood will be collected from the body parts. Again the blood collected from the body parts to the heart. That's why this phase, that means the diastole phase, is called as resting phase. During diastoling phase, again the heart full with blood, filled with blood. So this is one cycle, that is cardiac cycle. We see here systole, diastole. Systole mean contraction, diastole mean relaxation. This whole process happens within seconds. That means 0.8 seconds. Auricle contraction takes 0.11 to 0.14 seconds. A ventricle contraction takes 0.27 to 0.35 seconds. Now let us the relation between heart and size of animal. Let us see. If the size of the animal is big, the heart size also big. Heart size also big. When come to the heartbeats decrease. If the size of the animal is increased, size of the heart is also increased, but number of heartbeat is decrease. Here, see, blue whale size is very high and heart is also very big, but the heartbeat is very low. If you observe carefully. Now we are going to discuss about circulation. There are two types of circulation. Single circuit circulation, double circuit circulation. Single circulation. What is single circuit circulation? The blood flows through the heart once in one complete circulation, that is called as single circulation. Example, fish. This picture shows single circulation. Then what about double circulation? The blood flows through the heart twice, that means two, in one complete direction, in complete circulation. That is called double circulation. Example, all higher animals. In the double circulation, again they have two separate circuits. They are pulmonary circuit and systemic circuit. Pulmonary refer lungs. The word refer lungs. So in this circulation, the blood flows from heart to lungs. Heart to lungs. In systemic circulation, the blood flows from heart to body parts. Systemic. The word referred body parts. So pulmonary, lungs, and again body parts through heart. That's why it is called as double circulation. This picture shows double circuit circulation. You know the double circulation have pulmonary circuit and systemic circuit. Pulmonary circuit means the blood flow through heart to lungs, and systemic circuit the blood flows through heart to body parts. This is one circuit. This is another circuit. Now we are going to discuss about lymphatic system. So lymphatic system consists lymph vessels and lymph nodes. This is lymphatic system, this one. Lymphatic system is vital link between the blood and tissues. This is a link between the blood and tissues. The system is also parallel system to venous system. This is parallel system. Lymph is Latin word. It means water. Lymph means water. It carry all essential substances from blood into cells. And if any waste is there in cells, again it will send back into the bloods. This is the function of lymphatic system. That is all about lymphatic system for your level of class. Later in higher classes, you will get to know about this one as system of lymphatic circulation in detail. Now we will discuss about evolution of circulatory system. So evolution means a process of development. Generally we talk about organisms as per classification. Animals are divided into invertebrates and vertebrates. Invertebrates means which do not have vertebral column. Vertebrate means which animals have vertebral column. You already knows that in 9th class we learnt. When you talk about evolution process right from protozoa till the mammals, how the system, the circulatory system was developed. Here we observe protozoa, example amoeba. In protozoans, the circulatory system occurs by Brownian movement, that means diffusion. And porifera, the phyla, porifera, example sponges, by beating flagella, the circulatory system occur. In cnidarians, again you called as Coelenterata, gastrovascular cavity. This gastrovascular cavity does both digestion and transportation of nutrients to every cell. So examples of cnidarians, Coelenterata, hydra, jellyfish. In platyhelminthes, flatworms, scientific name Fasciola hepatica, the digestive system supplies digestive food to every cell. Excretory system collect waste materials from every cell. And Nematohelminthes example roundworm. Here the circulatory function occurs by pseudocilium. Annelida, earthworm. Pulsatile vessel we find in Annelida, the first developed heart here. Then the arthropoda, the biggest phyla in invertebrates. Here also we know cockroach, so many examples are there. Developed all insects, developed a pulsatile organ to pump the blood. And mollusca, example snail, pulsatile organ for circulation. And Echinodermata, example starfish, water vascular for circulation. Now we will discuss about the evaluation of the transport system in chordata, that means vertebrates. So Pisces, in Pisces example fish, they have two chambered heart. When you go for amphibians, example frog, salamander, there are three chambered heart, 1, 2, 3. And reptiles, here we observe two auricles, but ventricle is partially divided. Example, so snake, crocodile, etc. And aves, completely divided four-chambered heart. Aves nothing but birds. And last one, mammals, they have four-chambered heart. Four-chambered, completely divided four-chambered heart we observe in aves and mammals. This is evaluation of circulatory system in vertebrates. Now we are going to discuss about types of circulation. There are two types of circulation. Open type of circulation, closed type of circulation. What is open type of circulation? The blood flows directly into blood body cavity. This system did not contain blood vessels. So here there is no blood vessels are present. For example, arthropods, many molluscs and lower chordates. And what is closed type of circulation? The blood flows into blood vessels, not body cavity. So here the blood vessels are present. So this type of circulation is known as closed type of circulation. Example, annelids, echinoderms, octopus and higher chordates. Next, we will discuss about blood pressure, BP. Do you have BP? Yes, everybody must have the normal BP. Without BP, we can't survive. BP means blood pressure. So, what is the blood pressure? The blood flows in the blood vessel. The blood exerts pressure on the walls of the blood vessel. That pressure is called as blood pressure. This pressure is compulsory required pressure to flow the blood in the blood vessel. Blood pressure is measured by a device known as sphygmomanometer. In humans, the normal blood pressure is 120 by 80. Here, 120 indicates systolic pressure, whereas 80 indicates diastolic pressure. If you maintain normal blood pressure, we have to take balanced diet and do regular exercise. So, this is the device sphygmomanometer. Now we are going to discuss about coagulation. So what is coagulation? What is the importance of coagulation? So the process by which blood clots to form solid masses or clots is called coagulation. In a simple way, we called as clotting of blood. Coagulation is a very important process because it is useful for all animals to survive. If there is no coagulation process, what will happen? We lost so much blood from our body, even it lead to death. During the time of injuries, the blood nearly takes around 3 to 6 minutes for the formation of clot. There is a lot of chemical reactions will takes place at the time of coagulation. As soon as injuries form immediately, our blood platelets play a vital role. Immediately blood platelets releases an enzyme named as thrombokinase. Then the thrombokinase act on another substance present in our blood. The name of this substance is prothrombin. So thrombokinase act on prothrombin and convert the thrombin. This thrombin act on another substance called as fibrinogen and convert into fibrin fibers. Then blood cells entangle, that means mix in the fibrin fibers, and then slowly clot is going to form. This is activated platelets, then clot is formed. Now we are going to discuss about the circulatory system in plants. Do they have any transport system in their plant's body? Yes. The plants have well developed transport system. Food, water and other minerals are transports from one part to another part with the help of transport system. Even some toxins or certain excretory materials are produced in plants. So these waste materials went out through transport system. The mechanism involved in transportation system of plants. So, the osmosis process, the root pressure process, and the transpiration or evaporation process are involved in transportation system of plants. Now we are going to discuss about the osmosis process. Already we learnt about osmosis in your ninth class. So what is osmosis? We know the osmosis is a process that involves the movement of water molecule from a region of lower concentration to a region of higher concentration. So this is the process of osmosis. So osmosis is responsible for ability of plant roots to draw water from soil. So this is what root hair. Xylem and phloem. We know about xylem and phloem. We study in your ninth class. So plants have two different kinds of tissues for transport of materials. They are xylem and phloem. So what is the function of xylem? The xylem participate in the conduction of water from root to all parts of the plant. Then what about the function of phloem? It participate in the conduction of food material from leaf to different parts of the plant body. Now we are going to learn about experiment to demonstrate root pressure in plants. Before going to do the experiment, we have to remind about root pressure. The pressure excreted by water molecules observed by root hair is called root pressure. It pushes the water upwards by few meters and is enough to supply water to leaves in small plants and small trees. For doing this experiment, we do some materials. They are potted plant, rubber tube, glass tube, tape and iron stand. First, we have to take a potted plant. Next, cut the stem portion 1 centimeter above the ground level. Then, connect the glass tube to the stem. Tightly bound the glass tube and stem by using either rubber tube or tape so that water cannot escape from the tube. Then fix the glass tube firmly by using a clamp. Now pour some water into the glass tube. And note the water level in the glass tube. Here water level is 2 ml. Then pour water into the pot and leave the arrangement for 2 to 3 hours. After 3 hours, observe carefully. Is there any change in water level? Yes, here water level is 2.5 ml. That means water level increased in the glass tube. Why does it occur? This is due to root pressure. So this experiment proved that root pressure occurs in the plants. Now we are going to learn about transpiration and its uses. Before going to know about transpiration, we are going to do an activity. For this activity, we need potted plant, polythene bag, thread. First, we have to take a potted plant. Enclose a leafy branch in a polythene bag and tie up polythene bag's mouth by using a thread. Observe here. Is there any water drops in the polythene bag? There is no water drops in the polythene bag. Then pour water into the pot and leave it for 2 to 3 hours. After few minutes, observe carefully. There are some water droplets or appear on the polythene bag. After one day, there are so many water drops or appear in the polythene bag. How is it possible? Where does water come from? This is due to transpiration. Water vapors are released from leaves. These vapors condense and seen as water drops. Once again, understand about transpiration. Leaves have some thousands of tiny pores on their upper and lower surfaces are called stomata. Plants release excess water in their body through stomata in the form of vapor. This process is called transpiration. Then, now uses of transpiration. Transpiration helps in transportation of water and minerals in plants. It creates the main pull of water about the root pressure. Hence, water moves easily upwards against the gravitational force. It helps to maintain the water level in the plant body. It is a cooling process. It regulates the temperature of the plant body. That's why plant does not heat it up even if present in sunlight throughout the day. Now we are going to learn about how to draw heart diagram simply and easily, and also we are going to learn about the structure of heart. Heart is pear-shaped structure, wider as the anterior and narrow at the posterior end. The heart is divided into 4 chambers. 2 upper chambers are called atria or auricles. The 2 lower chambers are called ventricles. Auricles are smaller than ventricles. Now we are drawing right auricle. This is left auricle. This is right ventricle. This is left ventricle. The walls or ventricles are thicker than auricles walls. Right auricle opens into the right ventricle, while left auricle opens into left ventricle. Two main arteries arised from the heart. One is pulmonary artery. It originated from right ventricle and divided into two reaches. the lungs. This is pulmonary artery. Second one is systemic aorta. It is the largest blood vessel in the body. It originates from left ventricle. This is systemic aorta. Two large veins are open into right auricle. Upper one is superior vena cava. Lower one is inferior vena cava. Two pulmonary veins are open into left auricle. There are four valves are present in the heart. The valve present between right auricle and right ventricle is called as tricuspid valve. The valve present between left auricle and left ventricle is called as bicuspid or mitral valve. The valves present at the region of pulmonary artery in right ventricle are called pulmonary valve. The valves present at the region of systemic artery in left ventricle are called systemic valve. Now the diagram is completed. Let us apply the colors. Then we label the parts. right atrium, left atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle, systemic aorta, pulmonary artery, superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, pulmonary veins, tricuspid valve, bicuspid valve or mitral valve, pulmonary valve, and systemic valve. Let us observe the flow chart of double circuit circulatory system. Systemic aorta carries blood from heart to all parts of the body except lungs. Superior vena cava and inferior vena cava collect this blood and send into the heart. Then the blood carried by pulmonary artery from heart to lungs. Then this blood collected by two pulmonary veins and send it into the heart. This is the pathway of blood in human beings. This is double circuit circulatory system present in the textbook. Let us label the parts. Double circulatory system. I hope you all are understood my lesson. I am going to ask and give you some questions. Try to answer my questions. In this PowerPoint presentation, you have seen root pressure transpiration activities. That activity videos are taken from Raju's Natural Science Academy channel in YouTube. So, I would like to thank Raju sir for giving permission to use those useful videos. Thank you, Raju sir. And children, if you want to see more activities or more subject related videos, you can watch sir's channel. Those videos are very useful for you. Thank you.